very nice to see you. Ruba, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's been
Oh,
such a
thank you.
long time.
Yeah, such a long, I mean, summer feels forever, right? I mean, just three
Yeah,
months. Yeah, like
I
June,
know.
July, August.
Yes,
Yeah. So, Ruba, thank you so much for making it to this meeting. I really, really appreciate it. So, the reason I asked you to have this meeting with you is, of course, a selfish reason is for just for me to see you one more time before you move on with your life and do amazing things with your life.
it's
But
an
this,
honor for me too. It's an honor for me too.
yeah. So the second reason I wanted to do this is for inspirational reasons. I want to inspire new students because you have a really good story to tell. So can you tell me about your story?
Well, it did start 2 years ago, and surprisingly, I just joined chemistry by coincidence.
You joined my class by coincidence?
Yes.
Oh,
My mom was scrolling through Facebook and she saw the announcement for your course, and she just decided for me to just watch the orientation, just for an experience, nothing more.
ooh.
And after I left the orientation class, I just loved the session so much. I decided to continue with it.
Wow. So that was 2 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice. So how was your chemistry before then at that time?
To be very honest, I didn't very much like chemistry, but I wasn't so bad at it. However, the more important reason why I wanted to join the course was because I found it super organized. I found everything arranged so perfectly. My timetables were so in schedule. It just was perfect for me.
Awesome. So the organization and being able to know, okay, here's what I'm going to do today. Here's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Here's the next week's, here's how it looks like. Here's how the year looks like. So that part,
Yeah.
that piece you like. I'm actually in I love to know how my academic year looks like. I'm an academic person. I work at a university. I do the chemistry. So I want to know how my whole 2025, 2026 years look like. Like I'm so future oriented. I want to know how each week looks like, each month look like. When are the quizzes? When are the exams? When I want to know when and how and what. I want to have all my answers. So you like that piece of the courses, how organized it was. Was that apparent in the orientation? I don't think I mentioned anything about the or did you look up the website and figured out, oh, this is organized and I like that?
No, you did show us the plan throughout the year, and that caught my attention really because
Mm,
I'm most confident when I know what I'm going to do every day. So
okay.
having everything in plan was really one of the most important factors to me.
Oh, so you did see the plan before joining. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
that makes sense. So
Yes.
you mentioned that you were doing okay, which I could tell from day one is that you are a hardworking person and it seemed that you are a good student from the very start. But then you said you did not really enjoy it. So you were good, but you were not really enjoying it. So can you tell me a bit more about
Yeah.
that and how did that change?
I mean, when I started the course, the most attractive thing was being able to interact with you. All the questions that we used to have, all the pop quizzes, the reflection quizzes, all of them really had changed my mind so much about the subject itself. And throughout the course, we've been, facing challenges, and that has always been my motivation to go on.
You said two things that I want to remember to ask you. You said challenges, so I'm going to get to the challenges, but before I get to the challenges, you mentioned the reflection quiz. I'll tell you what, nobody has ever said something like I like your reflection. Nobody. Students do not want to write anything so just to let viewers know what a reflection quiz is. So after each class, I ask them to write a short paragraph about the lesson. What did you learn today? So I want you to describe what you learned today. So, tell me something like, oh, okay, now I understand why we can smell the cooking smell from far away. How come the smell of the perfume diffuses so fast? How come I can determine what the state of the matter is just knowing at what temperature we're operating and knowing the melting and boiling? I want the student to think about their learning I did not have any students say, I always had students say, "Oh, you're so organized. Your teaching is so simple." And they say a lot of things, but I never had someone say, I like the Can you tell me
You know,
more about that? Because that's so pretty.
the main reason for that is I'm able to summarize what we have taken in class, and it
Summarize.
actually makes it makes everything stick to my memory for a very long time. And if it's done before the homework or before even looking at the notes, it just makes everything so simpler and easier. I think it was called active recall or something. You write things down, the things that you remember down, and then it just gets stuck to your
True.
mind.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
So
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
it
I
really
did not come up with this idea on my own. I think I was inspired with this idea by reading books about teaching and learning, and all the books said the same thing. When you reflect about your thinking, what did I learn today? And you put it in writing or even typing is also fine. um it sticks to your head. I mean, thank you so much. That's amazing. And I hope that viewers now change their mind a little bit about the reflection quiz, because I keep pushing, guys, take the reflection quiz, write something. And this year we are actually doing something a little bit different. We're going to put their reflection on the group that has their parent. So the parent is going to see each class's reflection. And then this way, because some students would write a very short reflection and say, "Oh, the class was awesome. I learned about states of matter." Uh, thank you. That's not what I. So
I think I've noticed that my reflection quizzes are usually really long.
yes, I
Um,
noticed that. Yep.
yeah, I tend to write everything that I do remember, or even if I don't remember something, I'll just quickly go over it again before writing it again,
That
and
was
it just
perfect.
makes all the difference.
And that's how you got really good results. We're going to talk about your results in a second. So the other thing you talked about was challenges. So going through challenges during the year, I would like to talk about that because every student will go through challenges. It's going to happen. The content
Yes.
is huge. Time is limited. You have to finish your exam. You have to do your exam in a very specific time in May and June. So you don't have forever to finish this stuff. So what are those challenges and how did you overcome them?
The first challenge is honestly, again, organizing things, knowing the priorities, how to set time
Priorities.
limits. And personally, I used to use, I think, the technique called Pomodoro. Um, I think I do remember something about that. Um, I set a
So,
time,
Promodora,
and
yeah, go ahead.
then I set a timer and do a task in the specific time. It helps me maintain kind of a rhythm while going through my tasks. It makes everything more organized. I get motivated more when I do know that there's a time limit to everything that I do, and I just can't go on forever. Um, and that and another thing about time is being able to stick to deadlines, especially with the gigantic homeworks that we have. But honestly, the homeworks are really one of the most important reasons that a person can get a good score. It's solving and solving and solving. That's the key to success, I think, in IGCSE. Being able to solve everything, it's just, to me, more important than studying the notes, studying whatever there is to study. Um, After solving the same question several times, it just sticks after that. It doesn't need to be recalled, doesn't need to be memorized. I don't have to sit too long in it again.
Awesome. Yeah, so the technique you talked about is setting a timer. I believe it's a 20-minute and then 10-minute break, or 30
I
minute
do
and then
adjust I do adjust it to the task that I do, so I
adjust
don't
to the
keep it.
task.
Yes, but I
That's
then
very
deduct
smart.
a 5 minutes time just to challenge myself over again.
That's really, really smart because every task is different.
Yes.
Sometimes I have a task of reviewing a paper that I'm going to publish, and that I know that task is not going to take 20 minutes. That task is going to
Yes.
take like 2.5, 3 hours. So that is very smart. So the top challenge is prioritizing. And I love that. I mean, now, was the course helpful in prioritizing? I just want to know if I did a good job helping you with this.
Yes, because we did have a set of things that we have to do throughout the week until the next class to do, and then I just pick whatever I feel the hardest to get done with
Oh.
it first, and then go through the smaller tasks because you never know what's gonna happen the next day. So I get done with the hardest and the most difficult, the ones that take the most time first, and then go over the smaller ones. And the course
Yeah.
has really helped me in that. I just realized the importance of this as we went on throughout the years.
Yeah, that's again another smart technique is they call it eat the ugly frog first, something like this, like where you do the hardest thing first and just get done with it. And this way you get motivated. I mean, yeah, I'm done. So that's really, really smart. So for viewers who are watching this, they're probably saying, like, oh, we have to do this reflection quick. We have to reflect upon the lesson. We have to pay attention to the lesson because we're gonna write something at the end. We have to do some kind of work every single day. That's a lot. However, it is totally worth it because Ruba, how much did you get? What was so you got a grade 9, which was totally
Yeah.
expected. We knew right along, like we knew a year ago that you were getting a grade 9, but you got also a really amazing score. Can you remind me what was it?
196 on 200.
Oh, mashallah, that's amazing. That's 98%. So, guys, watchers, please pay attention. It's worth it. I mean, because 196 is like the to get a 9, you had to get like 169, 170, but you got 196, which is well above the 9, which means you are totally on the safe side. I mean, yeah, for college application and stuff, they may just look at your grades and see that you got all nines and stuff. But for you to be in such a safe side, like no matter how hard the exam was going to be, no matter how anxious you are, no matter how tired you are, no matter what happens, you were guaranteed the good grade. And that's just a feeling of confidence that just makes you really relaxed throughout the exam process. And how does that feel?
It's honestly amazing. But the thing that I also want to say is that when I went through the exam, I did 3 papers, and whenever I came out, I didn't feel that I did enough in it, but, I just figured out that the result that you get at the end is just an accumulation of all the hard work that you've done throughout the year and not the paper that you've done 3 minutes ago or something like that. So that thing had made me much more confident now.
Yeah, I always tell my students, if you do our work, our exams throughout the year, at the end, your real exam is not gonna feel like this huge big thing. It's just gonna be another exam. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's not the paper that you just finished, it's the accumulation of the effort upon effort for the
Yeah.
whole year. And I always tell my students the crash, course or the crash, like waking up in March and saying, "Oh, the exams are approaching. Let's do something about it." That usually doesn't work and it only causes lots of an anxiety. You were working consistently all year long. Like there was, so that at the end it's not a big, anxious, huge, scary thing. So that's
Yes.
that's amazing. So, Ruba, what do you wanna do after this? What do you wanna be in the future?
It's still undecided, but in
Okay.
next 2 years, I'll be taking 3 A levels. I'll be taking A-level biology, chemistry, another chemistry, of course,
Mm.
and, A-level math. I'm aspiring to be something in the researching area, writing scientific reports, scientific papers, researching things, creating innovative solutions. That's one of my aspirations, definitely.
That is such a good fit for you. You're gonna do amazing. I'm very confident. Now, when you get to that decision, when you like get your uh when you decide and you get admitted into the university of your choice, please let me know
Yeah,
because I hear
definitely.
from my students all the time. So, last question, and I really, really appreciate your interview. You said amazing things and I really love that you mentioned something that nobody mentioned before, which is the reflection quiz. um, what advice do you want to give to new students who are just getting started?
This is from my personal experience. This is a negative side to the orientation. At first, I got intimidated, honestly, by everything. people were throwing some chemistry jargon that I didn't know what meant, and until today, I still don't know the terminology that they used on the in the orientation
Which
and
orientation are you talking about?
the first year.
The first year of your okay.
Yes. Yes. I got intimidated by everything. The subject itself,
Was that at
it like
school?
no, 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 no. Your orientation,
Oh, my
everything looked
orientation.
really too big. Everything looked too big, too gigantic. Like, it honestly intimidated me. But as we went on, everything went really smooth. It builds up, and then you reach a stage where you know everything was just really small and it didn't require all that anxiety.
I just want to let viewers know that Ruba was very young when she joined me, right? You were 14? Were you how old were you when you joined? You were
13,
14. 13.
or 14,
Whoa.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So Ruba was 13. So obviously, terms like kinetic theory and sublimation and, like terms like that are a bit too big. Yeah, for a 13-year-old, I mean, that's why I adore you so much because you grew up really quickly. Like you changed very quickly. So you said like within few weeks or few months would you say did everything start to just make sense and you felt like I
I would
understood
say it's more gradual. You don't feel
gradually?
the change. You don't feel the change throughout the months, but I would say throughout like half of the syllabus, around half of the year, something like that, you would feel how much you've climbed,
Yes. And
see how high
things,
you've
yeah,
went.
things start to
Yeah.
make sense because it's chemistry. Once you learn bonding, for example, things start to click. And then once you, I feel like energetics is a lesson that is very dear to my heart because it makes me feel like, oh, now I understand how reactions happen. So that's like another click. And then, acids bases is like another click. And then organic chemistry is like this final thing that brings everything
Yes.
together. So yeah, that makes sense. So it's gradual. So your advice for students, new students, is um, you're gonna feel overwhelmed, especially if you are 13. You are going to be overwhelmed with the terms, and you're gonna feel like this is too big at the very beginning. So,
Yeah.
what's your advice for them? Is to chill, take it easy, or like,
No, to take it seriously from the very beginning, I always say that starting right will make you end right. So, taking everything seriously from the first step will make everything much more easier, and keeping yourself consistent throughout the course will just help you a lot at the end.
I love what you said. I cannot agree more. Yes, take it seriously from the very first day. And I do take it, like, I do emphasize, especially doing the homework and submitting it on time and paying attention during the lesson and participating. And you mentioned the participating and the engagement and being able to ask questions and answer questions. It's a two-way road. So
Yes.
I ask a lot of questions. I don't just spoon feed students and give them the information. I ask a lot of questions. So and you did do a good job, responding all the time during the lesson. And then when I see a response that's like, why did you say this number? Why did you say so? For example, yesterday in the class, I said, at what temperature does condensation happen? And one student said 25 degrees C. And I was like, why did you say that 25 degrees C? And then I figured out it's because like when they shower, there's condensation on the mirror at 25 degrees C. It's not 100 degrees C. So students think or feel like condensation happens at room temperature, which it does, but it's so I started, explaining the concept and the stuff further. So
It's another
that's why,
thing. It's another thing for us to not be afraid of making mistakes,
yes,
because at the
yes,
end we do learn a lot from them, and it's better safe than sorry. Um, to be able to know your mistake from the very beginning, it makes all the difference at the very end, because you could have made this mistake and its impact would have been much bigger than making a mistake just in class, because it just didn't make a difference
absolutely.
if it
Absolutely.
happened
It's
at the end.
because a student responded and said something that is wrong. I was
Yeah.
able to tell that, hey, not everyone knows that boiling point and condensation point are the same, and that melting and freezing are the same temperature, same point. So I had to like I spent another 5 minutes explaining the concept because someone made a mistake. I love mistakes. Love, love, love mistakes. Like, please respond. Please try your best. Please guess. It's fine to guess in the class. I mean, it's not an exam, so that
Yeah.
helps me also as a teacher and helps the student learn because if they're just listening and not making any mistakes, not doing any trial and error, then the learning is not happening. So that's a great advice, Ruba. Anything else you want to tell to you want to you know, advise new students?
This is one last thing. It's about the motivation part because the year is really, really, really long, and I tend also to get bored in between, slack off at times even. So I think a good solving for this problem is to be always in constant competition with yourself and your peers. It makes all the difference when you're always challenging yourself, when you're always setting limits, not setting limits, I mean, to everything that you do, being in constant competition with yourself and with everyone else. It gives you the motivation to keep on moving forward and into always improving yourself and advancing forward.
Quick question. So last year we would post something about students who completed all their homework perfectly. Was that a motivational piece for you? Did it help seeing your name among students who completed their homework perfectly?
Certainly, certainly, yes.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Ruba, oh my God, I am confident that 10 years from now, your customers, your patients, your clients, who what have you, are going to watch this and say, "Whoa, Dr. Ruba." 10 years
I
ago.
hope
I'm
so.
absolutely very confident. Thank you so much. I loved teaching you. I enjoyed teaching you. You were such a pleasure. You were not just smart, but you had this special enthusiasm. You were interested, you wanted to know, you were inquisitive, you asked questions, you tried and tried. And then the part about being consistent was the best thing about you because that's the hardest. It's very easy to be excited in August and September when school starts. And then it's very easy to start to be tired and be bored in December. Very, very common. You will not believe how hard the December month is for us as a team because
I know.
a lot of
It's
students will
the
start
December,
to
January, which is the hardest, honestly.
totally agree. And this is something we see with our students. It's very significant. We can all tell as a team, like all the homework submissions decline. And we're like, oh, yeah, it's December. Let's push, let's talk, let's communicate with the parents, with the students. Yes, December and January, totally. So, viewers, if you're watching this in December and January, that is totally normal. Totally normal.
Yes.
So, thank you again so much. You've been amazing. I really appreciate this interview. It's going to be so dear to my
Thank
heart.
you so much.
I'm gonna put it in my YouTube channel, and it's gonna be such like an honor to have Ruba. Hopefully, in just few years, it's gonna be Dr. Ruba. So,
I hope so too.
yeah, thank you so much, and best wishes in your 3 A levels. You're gonna do amazing. You have a great start. You know your subjects. You know your science. So you're gonna do amazing. And again,
Thank you
thank
so much,
you.
Miss.
Thank
It's
you
been a
so much.
pleasure to be taught by you for 2 years.
Yes, yes, 2 years went by. I mean, to me, it went by too quickly. So but it was enjoyable. I truly enjoyed
Very
it.
enjoyable. True.
Thank you so much, Ruba. Okay.
Thank you so much, Miss.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.